Hi, everyone.
Hi, Miss Lynn.
Everybody's okay?
Yes.
Fine.
Good. Okay, let's start out today. I know you have some questions, I'm sure. So who has a question? Raise your hand. No questions? Okay. No questions about why I had to change the quiz?
Yes,
Why we postponed it to Sunday?
Well, I'll tell you why, Sama. I had some students, 4 of them to be exact, that, oops, sorry. I had 4 students that signed up for the website. Last night until 2 o'clock this morning, I had 37 messages because these students kept insisting they couldn't get in because the code was wrong. So I spent most of my night trying to figure out the problem. And finally, I realized that it had nothing to do with the code. They could not remember either their username or their password.
Miss, the problem is not from you. It's they copy and paste the code with the word code itself.
I
It's not your
tried.
problem.
No, Sama, they got it in there. In the beginning, I think some of them made that mistake, but they finally figured it out. But then they could not remember the password they used to get back in. Some of them couldn't even remember the username. So a message to everybody. I know that most of you know this. Whenever you sign up for a website, write down the username and password. Sama, how many quizzes do y'all have on Sunday?
How many quizzes?
Yeah.
It will be grammar and social.
Are you worried about grammar and social on the same day?
No,
Okay.
I'm not worried.
All right. I know you can have up to 2 quizzes per day, but I just wanted to make sure because I knew I had to change it and I felt really bad about it.
No, Miss, it's okay.
Thank you, Abby.
Miss Lynn,
Yes, dear.
are we going to take the most dangerous game online, or we're going to take it written on Tuesday?
We're going to take it in the class.
Like not multiple choices, right?
No. Now, after saying all of this, on Sunday, I think the school is going to give us another website to use for quizzes, the Microsoft. But we have to wait until Sunday to get all the details.
We tried this website today with Miss Heba.
And was it okay?
It's so
Yes.
easy. We cannot change our answers. It won't be like yours.
And were you able to write out your answers?
Yes.
It was
So,
But
Miss, we
no
were able to write, but it was
question.
choosing. But we can write, yani, if we want, we
Okay.
can write.
So it does not all have to be multiple choice, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I like a mixture. I like some multiple choice, some true, false, some short answer.
Miss, I have a question for the grammar quiz.
Okay.
On Sunday, will the quiz be all multiple choice or a normal quiz? Yani underline or
No, it's going to be on paper. For the in-class students, it's going to be on paper. The online students will have the exact same quiz, except you will have to do it a little different way, and you must have paper and pencil with you.
Okay.
Does everyone understand?
Miss,
Yes,
for
Miss.
the online students,
when we will take the grammar quiz?
We'll
Will it
take
be
it
on
same
Tuesday?
time that the kids in school do. All the information is on SMS, except I forgot to put, you must have paper and pen. So I'm telling you now.
Miss Lynn,
Yes.
we can take the quiz, like we can go to school and take the quiz, then we can go home. But I'm talking about the online students.
I know, but see, I can't tell you that that's okay without administration.
Yeah, I'll ask them.
But I really don't see the difference between the quiz and you have to go to school and take the exam.
Because if there's a network problem or anything issue, so to be prepared. So that's all.
Well, for now, we'll do it this way until something changes. Inshallah, everything will be okay.
Inshallah.
Okay, so today we're going to watch a new PowerPoint on writing a narrative. I know you're getting very tired of writing lessons. I know it's a bit boring, but I promise you, after we finish everything in this lesson 1 on writing, then the next time you have to write an essay, you will be home free. You will not have to go through all of this again. You might forget something and have to go back and refer to it, but you will have the basic rules in your mind on how to write an essay. So please just bear with me until we get the first writing lesson completed. I know it involves a lot. All right, so writing a narrative essay from start to finish. Narrative essay prompt. Every essay starts with an essay prompt or question. Notice the prompt gives you information you can use. It tells you, let me minimize, it tells you to write about certain things, emotions, waiting in line, stress, and the test. It also organizes the essay into beginning, middle, and ending for you. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to let students in. Once you have the question in mind, review the outline and essential essay elements. Then jot down your ideas for your essay. Prompt. Recall the time that you took your driver's test. We know you're not going to, let's pretend. Recount the emotions that you had, the waiting in line, the stress, and the actual test itself. Tell about the beginning, middle, and ending of your experience. The outline. As we said before, first you have to have a hook. It can be a quote, it could be a question, statistics, a description. That is to lure your readers in so they will continue and read your entire essay. If you don't have a good hook at the beginning, then we will not want to continue to read your essay, and that results in a poor essay. Thesis. A thesis statement is what the essay is about. Okay? Then happens in beginning of the story. You notice it starts off with transitions. First, then, next. Add figurative language, similes, metaphors. Add dialogue. Add onomatopoeia, foreshadowing. Then happens in the middle of the story. Second, these are transitions. Second, also, finally, again, add figurative language, okay? Similes, metaphor, dialogue, on and on, okay? Conclusion. In your conclusion, you need to restate your thesis. In other words, your closing paragraph should connect with the introduction paragraph. The only difference is you're going to word it differently, but you're going to tell what you learned or why that incident or experience was important to you. Everyone understand so far?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, Miss Lynn.
thank you.
Yes, Miss. Yes, Miss Lynn.
All right. Hold on. Okay, the outline. After you have told the story, then conclude by restating the thesis and telling what you learned or why it's important to you, okay? Let's brainstorm. Now that you've reviewed the outline, you're not going to actually do this today. We'll do this in class, and the online students will do it at home. Okay, brainstorming is one of the most important steps in writing any kind of essay. Now that you've reviewed the outline, you're going to make a chart or a web of events in the beginning, middle, and ending of your story. So again, remember, you're going to take your driver's license. So in the beginning, you wake up, you drive to the test, you're feeling very nervous. That's all you have to have right now. The middle of your essay, you get there, you have to wait in line, you take the written test, and you pass, okay? Ending, nerves before final driving test. You take the test and you feel so relieved once you knew that you had passed. Now, what you have to do, the beginning, the middle, and the end, is fill in between those lines. You understand? That will give you your 3 body paragraphs. Okay? Once you have your paragraphs chunked, you can get to writing. Be sure to start off by introducing your topic. Use the prompt to help you. The prompt here was recall the time you took your driver's test. Recount the emotions that you felt, the waiting in line, the stress, the actual test itself. And of course, like I said before, you tell about the beginning, what happened, the middle, and the end of the experience. If you are unable to come up with a meaningful hook, on top of, I can't even say it, works well. You could use a sound word for the alarm clock going off, and then tell how you wake up, it's supposed to be woke up, remembering everything that is going to go on that day. Everyone understands about the sound of the alarm clock?
Yes.
Are y'all with me?
Yes, Miss Lynn.
Okay.
Yes, Miss Lynn.
At least give me one yes. All right.
Okay.
For the thesis, foreshadowing can work well. You can say something like, I had no idea how my day would go. It turned out to be a day I'd never forget. Okay, so that's a bit of foreshadowing here. The following is an example essay. The blue sentences are the figurative language. Feel free to use it to model an essay for yourself. Remember, you are not writing a book, just a short essay. Enjoy the journey and have fun. Introduction. Beep, went the alarm clock. I rubbed my eyes sleepily, dreading another day at school. Then I remembered it was my birthday and I was missing school to take my driver's test. I jumped out of bed to get ready for what was supposed to be an easy day. You see how they used sound here?
Yes.
He explains how he jumped out of bed, and then he tells us what was supposed to be an easy, emphasis is on easy day. So that already tells us it's not going to be an easy day, right? Right.
Yes.
I'm asking questions and I'm answering myself, okay? Recount the emotions waiting in line. I got ready as soon as possible, hoping to beat the long line and just get the whole thing done. Though I had read the book and practiced driving, I had a nagging feeling that things would not go as planned. I gobbled down my breakfast so fast that I almost got sick afterward. I then raced to the car like an Olympic sprinter. As Mom drove me to the DMV, I studied my book even more. I got out of the car and went in. To my astonishment, the line seemed to go all the way around the building. This did little to calm my nerves. The longer I had to wait, the more I worried that I would fail miserably. Okay, what is one of the first things that you noticed that this writer used that maybe you would not have thought to do? Let's look at the second sentence in blue. He didn't just say, I ate my breakfast very fast and I almost got sick. He said, I gobbled down my breakfast so fast that I almost got sick afterward, okay? He didn't say in the next line, I then ran to the car very fast. He says, I then raced to the car like an Olympic sprinter. You see the difference? The
Yes.
next blue line, he doesn't say to my surprise. He says to my astonishment. Okay? And the last line, the longer I had to wait, the more I worried that I would fail miserably. That makes a big difference right there. What word is that, miserably? What part of speech?
Adverb.
Yes, thank
Adverb.
you. It's an adverb. But do you see, just by adding that one adverb, it makes that sentence much stronger than if he would have written, the longer I had to wait, the more I thought I would fail. He says, the longer I had to wait, the more I worried that I would fail miserably, okay? The next page, the stress. I finally got to the front of the line. When the lady behind the counter asked me for my information, my throat felt as dry as toast. He doesn't say when the lady behind the counter asked for my information, I couldn't speak. He says my throat felt as dry as toast. And then he says, I squeaked out my answers. You know how sometimes when you get really nervous and your voice sounds really girly? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like really wimpy, okay? So he said, I squeaked out my answers, took my seat at the computer and started the test. My hands were shaking like leaves as I selected the correct answers. Finally, I finished. I was so relieved to find out that I had passed. And by the way, I will put this on SMS so you can read it again. Phew, I thought, only one more test to go. You see how he breathes out a sigh of relief right here. Phew. I took another seat waiting for my name to be called for the actual driver's test. As I kept waiting, my nerves started to falter. My hands began to shake, and when the instructor called my name, I nearly jumped out of my seat. How many times have we felt like this? You wait for the teacher to call your name for something, you're so nervous, and when she finally or he finally calls your name, you're startled, you feel like you're going to jump out of your seat, okay? I think we've all been in that situation. The actual test itself, I quietly walked out to the car and got in. The instructor told me to start the car and drive around the block. I nervously started the car. He doesn't just say, I started the car. Again, just that 1 watt makes a difference. Right.
Adverb.
Okay. He didn't add 2, 3, 4, 5. He added only 1. I nervously started the car, put it in drive, and started out. As I continued to drive, I settled in and started to calm down. Before I knew it, the whole test was finished and I passed. Conclusion. Even though I was as nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs, the test went smoothly. How you like that sentence? He was as nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. He adds a little laughter here, okay? Because I had practiced and worked hard to prepare, the whole thing was pretty easy. I had my driver's license and I was ready to ride like the wind. Okay? Edit your essay with the top 5. Introductory word or phrase, comma. Any sentence that starts with a preposition or adverb usually needs a comma if the phrase is 4 words or longer. An example is, at the beginning of the story. You have a comma after story. Also add commas after your transition, such as finally, in conclusion, then. I think you all understand this, am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Next, compound sentence, comma. A sentence that has 2 complete thoughts, joined by for and so, but, or yet, requires a comma after the first sentence. Example, he was once my friend, but now I can never trust him again. Again, we just finished studying this, okay? Interrupter, comma. Any sentence that has an explaining phrase in the middle must have commas before and after the phrase. Example, Mr. Jones, my friend, spoke at the assembly. What is this called in grammar? Mr. Jones, my friend.
A
Like,
positive.
okay?
Positive.
And we should all know that we have to set off apostrophes with commas, all right? Sentencing. Check for fragments and run-ons. A simple sentence expresses 1 complete thought. A compound sentence can express 2 thoughts, but be careful of run-on sentences, which contain too many thoughts. Run-ons need to be separated with commas or into 2 sentences. Next, spelling verb tense. Your verbs, this is so important, and this is one of the biggest mistakes I see in essays, believe it or not. Your verbs must agree with your subjects and numbers. Do not change the verb tense in your essay. The verb and the subject must agree. Everyone understand?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. A summary. Use the prompt to help you organize and write your essay. You already have your prompt, correct? You already know what you have to write about. Right? Okay. I heard 1 out of 27. Number 2, review the outline so as to include necessary parts of the essay. Make sure you review the outline so you don't leave anything out. Then plan the essay with a web or a chart. In my mind, we'll use a chart, but if you feel better with a web, I don't have a problem. The most important thing I want you to do is to have your plan on paper. After you do all of this, someone has a question? No? Okay. After you do all of this, then it's time to write the essay. After you have written your essay, you're going to go back and edit it with the top 5. And then finally, you can celebrate because you were done. Okay? Now, what questions do you have for me? Remember, I told you in class, but online students, I may have not told you, maybe in the recording, I don't remember. But when you are brainstorming, you have some paper or notebook, whatever, in front of you. all you're doing, you're just throwing ideas on the paper. This is not your final thing, okay? You're just throwing ideas out. And when you think you're finished, then you're going to look at this paper again, walk off for a while, walk off for a day if you need to. When you go back to it, believe me, you're going to have new ideas. And when you look at your paper that you did for brainstorming, you're going to mark through some of your ideas that you had at the beginning and rewrite your new ideas on that paper. So your paper will look messy, but it will be organized in a disorganized way. Do you understand what I mean by that?
No.
Yes,
I
Miss
don't.
Lana.
Okay, your paper will look very sloppy, but at the same time, when I say, Selma, please show me your brainstorming sheet. When I look at it, I should be able to tell that Selma started out with 5 ideas, okay, for her introduction. But then I see at one point she went back and she scratched 2 of those ideas out, and on the side she wrote her new ideas. What I'm trying to say is you're going to have a lot of marking through, but I still want to be able to see it, okay? And it's not going to look organized in any way, shape, or form, but this is what brainstorming should look like. As far as the rule of brainstorming, that's how you organize it. You just throw out the first ideas that come to you. Then after you start thinking for a while, you're going to tell yourself, you know what? How did I come up with that dumb idea? I don't need to write about that. They're not going to be interested in that. I need to replace it with something more interesting. Or that experience wasn't so great. I have a much better one that happened on my trip. You understand?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have questions about the brainstorming now?
No.
Okay. All right. What else do we have? Oh, okay. The outline. The outline is very important. Come up with a great hook. Like I said, it could be a question, a quote. It can be many things. It can be dialogue, okay? On the essay that we have in our book, the boy started out with dialogue. You remember his father told him they were going on a trip to the Grand Canyon. And he tells us in the very first paragraph, he opens with a very interesting introduction. And it focuses on a clearly defined experience. And it has a conversational tone because he used dialogue, okay? That's just an idea. I'm not saying you must use it, but it's an easy peasy hook, okay? Thesis. There is in your Right Source book, if you go all the way to the back, I think it's very interesting. It gives you the definition of a thesis statement and what is used for I remember this from last year and year before, what is used as an example are the pyramids in Cairo, okay? I know you're very nervous about a thesis statement because that sounds so important and probably strange to you. Don't let the name throw you. A thesis statement is one sentence in your introductory that lets the readers know what your entire essay is about, but you do not say, my essay is going to be about. Never, ever, okay? So I want you all to look up the thesis statement in the back of your Right Source book. And it will give you, I think you'll be surprised at how simple the thesis statement is, all right? Again, they should start with a statement or description that creates interest. Then the topic in the thesis should state what the essay is about. Then you've got the introductory paragraph finished. you're ready to move on to the 3 body paragraphs. All right. Now, you're going to pick out, I told you this before, the 3 most compelling experiences in your story. And that's going to give you your 3 body paragraphs. Okay. In the next paragraphs, you tell the story in the order that it happened in. The beginning, the middle, and the end, okay? Make sure in each of your paragraphs you use transitions, okay? This keeps a smooth flow throughout your essay. Also, as you write, use figurative language, use dialogue, foreshadowing, all of those things. It makes a more interesting essay, okay? After you have completed your 3 body paragraphs, you are now finished telling us your story. All you have left to do is to write your conclusion. So after you've told the story, then conclude by restating your thesis statement from the introduction paragraph to your conclusion, and you say the same things except you use different words. So conclude by restating the thesis in different words and tell what you learned from your incident or your experience, or why the incident or experience was so important or meaningful to you. Okay? Any questions on this part?
No, thank you, Mr.
Okay, no one has a question for me? I'm ready to answer, I promise.
No, miss, I just want you to post this PowerPoint
Yes, I
on the
will.
SMS.
I will. Okay.
Next one, it will be due.
I'm sorry.
When it will be due.
You want the video?
No, when it will be due.
The due for the personal narrative.
The due date for the essay?
Yes,
I
yes.
will let you know. I don't want you to worry about a date right now. I want you to worry about writing the best essay that you can.
Okay.
After we go through after we finish every part of the lesson, on the very last day, I will look at you and tell you your essay is due on such and such a day. I will not only give you 1 day, but I want you to keep in mind, by the time we finish the last page, your essay should just be about ready to be typed and turned in, because you should be writing your essay as we go along day by day. You understand?
Yeah.
So when we finish the last day of the lesson, basically all you should have to do is go to your computer and type it up after you finish your revising and editing, okay? But I'll give you time. I don't want you to worry about that. I think you can see I'm not trying to rush you on writing, okay?
Okay.
All right, what else?
Miss, do we have to hand in the draft and our reviewing and
Offered, I
everything for the essay?
probably the first time I want to see it, only for one reason. You can show me that you knew how to brainstorm, and you knew how to do everything that we're doing. You remember on page 171 in the literature book, I said, in fact, I think I used Ahmed as an example. He wrote 4 different things down in his writing notebook. One was the first day of the new school, and he was in 7th grade. Then let's pretend he wrote about his best baseball game in 8th grade. These are the things that stand out in Ahmed's mind. Then number 3, he remembered the day that his cat died when he was in 8th grade, when Ahmed was in 8th grade, not the cat. Okay? And then all of a sudden he thought about his rafting in the Grand Canyon. And he put a big red circle around that because that was his final decision on what to write his essay about. Everyone understand this part? I want to know that each of you had at least 3 different experiences down on paper and see that circle on the one that you chose to write about. This is why also there's a chart on there. Consider your audience and purpose. It has 3 columns. One's audience, one's information, one's purpose. Audience, you should write down teacher and classmates. Information, like for this boy that wrote this essay, why I was scared, the experience that happened when I was 10, details about rafting. And then his purpose to write the essay was, I'll show that fears seem real, but they can be faced and sometimes conquered. Everyone understand now? Also, on the same page, you have another page in your notebook, the 5 senses. I want you to list what 5 senses that you can come up with that will be in your essay, like sound. Remember, the water was whooshing, okay? The rafters were yelling. The sight, he said the water looked like it was boiling. And he has touch. He talks about the rough ropes on the raft itself, okay? This is not difficult, guys. It's a little time consuming, especially for the first essay. But I promise you with my word, after this, you'll be like, you know what? Essays are not that difficult. And you can write an essay in 2 days. You could really write 1 in 1 if you wanted. But let's go for 2. All right, what other questions? Okay, if you don't have any more questions now, we'll end this session. And of course, we have the next session, okay?
Okay.